Good evening, everyone. I know we are a small bit early. Let me just see. It's hard to know where I usually put this camera, but yeah, I hope everybody's well. Happy Saturday. Hope we're all well. We are a few minutes early. When we a few minutes, about 4 minutes, which is better than no minutes. That's fine. But yeah, would you believe February's nearly finished already? February's a short month. We have next week, and then we have the week after that, and then pretty much we're in March. I think about that for a second. Tomorrow is the 15th of February. Like it's insane. And literally 2 weeks' time we'll be in March. Like um two Saturdays away basically is the 28th, the last day of the month, because obviously there's not 31 days in the month. In February there's only 28, which is insane to take two that we're in basically 3 months and nearly gone in the year. Just when I was looking at that, literally 3 months nearly gone already. Like it's quite insane when you think about it. That's literally nearly in March, so it's madness. We'll be soon St. Patrick's Day, and so like it's crazy. Where did that all that time go? Um, but time waits for no one. But yeah, so we the usual thing when we start these live streams, we just give it about 10 minutes, then we get started on a good few things, not much, but still a good bit to talk about. So yeah, I think that's the notification saying I'm gone live. I get the notification to tell myself I'm going live. Isn't it great? But nobody else gets the notification. But I get the notification to say that I'm live in case I'm demented a bit. Um, Let me just make sure there's no mess. I put it up yesterday. Thankfully, I did put it up. In fairness, about time I remembered to put it up that I was going to be live today. Alive, yeah, I'm going to be live. Um, I'm just making sure there's nothing, no messages or anything, just making sure of that. Do you know what YouTube actually needs? Like, they generally need to have a messenger kind of thing. What do I mean by that? You know the way you have comments and stuff that people can send you DMs, like on Twitch, what they used to have. You can send, what was it called? Whispers. That's what it was called on Twitch. They should do the same here on YouTube. Now, obviously, probably would be abused and stuff, but I do think it would be good. But will they ever do it? No. But maybe they will. Hopefully, they will. Even if it's just not too expensive and stuff. It's just, but I don't think they ever will, unfortunately. But we see what happens because again with the voice notes are great. They are only 30 seconds, unfortunately. But I wish they were longer. But hopefully, maybe they're only kind of a trial. So hopefully they keep them for forever and extend them. Hopefully for a few minutes, you can make voice notes for about 5 minutes, and hopefully other people can do it soon too. Like that would probably be too much to ask on for only people to make, because it probably would just be people shouting the F word, etc. In the comments and stuff like that. Or the other words that you cannot say. Um, well, obviously you can say the F word, but other kind of words. Give me a moment. Let's see, is there anything else here? Sorry, give me 2 seconds. Sorry, this is the worst thing about when people do message you and stuff like that. You have to kind of see what's the story, what's happening. There's a nuisance, but what can you do? Just to make sure that. See, as soon as I go live, people message me. It's great stuff. And then if I sat here all day and done nothing, nobody would message me. So isn't that great? So for now, I'm going to sit here and do nothing, and literally nobody would message me. But then as soon as I'm going to do something, everybody would fucking come out of the woodwork. It's typical shit. What the fuck? I don't know about that one, but okay. Hello, Evanoni. How are we doing? I hear you're making accusations about my covert operations, may I say. Let's call it that. I hear you're spreading conspiracy theories, in other words. What is Ben Shapiro shouting about? Okay, Ben Shapiro's just having a meltdown. Great stuff. But yeah, so yeah, conspiracy theories. The worst thing about conspiracy theories, unfortunately, the majority of them come true. So so you know about that one. Oh no, the whistleblowers. Oh no, we couldn't have that. Um, really highlighted it. Um, but yeah, anyway. uh, so yeah, but we need to bring back Calvin Cola. We need to do it. We need it for national security reasons. No, but generally we probably should bring back. In all seriousness, we probably should bring back Calvin Cola. Like it was a sin that they got rid of it. It was a sin. They should bring it back. It would be a great thing. It would be a great thing in the shops. It was apparently very nice. I never tasted it. There's none of it left. Some people have like bottles of it and stuff, but I never tasted and stuff. Some people have tasted when they were older. Of course, when it was in circulation and stuff. But yeah, it probably would do well if they started again. That's what I aim to do when I become a counsellor or a Chocty dollar. God forbid. It'd be the worst thing that ever happened in this county if I got to be a Chocty dollar. Well, not in general for the establishment to be very bad, because I would generally be out to just destroy them, in the nicest possible terms. We want nothing to do with a backwards looking idea of sovereignty. A backwards looking idea of sovereignty. Sorry, give me a second. Back again. Breathly beer. Well, we're not going to go that far. Like, it wasn't alcoholic. Calvin Cola. It was just like Club Owen. Where was my Club Owen behind me? Well, did I take it up there? No, I don't have a glass, but I didn't. It was like rock shandy and stuff. It wasn't like alcohol. As far as I know, it wasn't alcohol. Maybe there was portions of it that wasn't alcohol in it. But I don't think it wasn't an alcohol kind of. It was like just an only fizzy drink. As far as I know, maybe I'm just totally delusioned. Yeah, like things have changed. A lot of drinks, the different kind of like some of them are debacled differently too. But yeah, this is Rock Shandy Club Orange. But yeah, no, I just got this. Usually I would get a glass. I probably should have got a glass because I hate this like fucking European Union shit. Like to be generally honest, I know it's for the environment and stuff, but I hate it. And not to mind too, like you pay a deposit when you get these, like to recycle them and stuff. I never do it. Like I've literally give the government about probably €1,000 in all the time they brought it in for these bottles because I never recycle them because I have none. There's none beside me. If that makes any sense. So I'm not going to like bring them 100 miles away to recycle them. It'd be different if it was only down the street. You could bring them down, but I probably spent lost €1,000 probably in that. Because it's different if you're literally right beside the place. Um, bottle caps. Yeah, Todd Howard. Too bad they're not water like bottle, but I suppose they are water a bit. But when you recycle them and stuff, but Todd Howard would love to get that fall out of the bottle caps. Very funny. Um, Whoa. The old bottle caps. Fallout 76. Poor old Todd is not doing well for Todd. They tried to release Fallout 4 again. It didn't happen. It didn't work. What is this now? Todd Howard. Sorry, I was just replying to that. But yeah, I suppose we get started. So first of all, I kind of want to talk about football. I know it sounds weird. This is not a football channel, but it's over the last particularly few days, last 2 days particularly. There's just been awful noise about this. and that's to do with Ireland in the Eurovision. Not the Eurovision, what the football, like the football games and stuff for the Euro qualifiers. Let's put it that way. Um, and Ireland is in the group with Israel, Hungary, and other groups. So obviously, everybody's very upset that Ireland probably will have to play Israel in Ireland, and the same with the Irish team having to play Israel in Israel. So who knows where that's going to go? But because everybody's very annoyed about it, and I don't know. Personally, I don't know what they should do. Um, Unless they pull out the whole competition, because you can't just really decide, oh, we're not just going to play this group and we're going to play the rest. Israel probably shouldn't be in it in the first place, but it's hard to know what to do. Where's the Green Party TDs after? I don't know. I don't think they're not in the government anymore, so I don't know. And there's none of them left. There's only Roderick O'Gorman. There's none of them left. So unless Roderick's deciding to go himself somewhere, but they're not in the government anymore. So it's only Fine Gael and the Independents. And Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. But I don't know. I don't know if Roderick O'Gorman's going to go anywhere because there's only one left. So, where's he going to go? He probably will go to London or something if he was going. But he's not going like on behalf of the government. He might go, but obviously he's going to put an expense claim in if he does go somewhere. So I don't know, to be totally honest. Because we know where the government ministers are going. We don't know where, say Mary Lou McDonald might decide to go somewhere. Kosovo. It belongs to so. It belongs to Serbia. I'll give it to Serbia. But yeah, so we see what happens there. But it's definitely going to be a big thing now in the next few weeks. If Ireland pulls out of the competition, because they can't really pick. Like you're not going to play Israel, but we're going to play Hungary. They can't really do that. If that makes any sense, so it would have to. So the other thing I want to talk about, was that not good? The Eamon Ryan, did Eamon Ryan not go off? Or maybe you're right. Yeah, when they go, yeah, well, maybe you're right. I thought it was Eamon Ryan, but no, I can't remember. You could be right. Yeah, I can't remember, but I don't. No, no, was it? Yeah, no, but that would have been right. Yeah, because Eamon Ryan was the Minister for the Environment. Yeah. I'm confused. I'm doubting myself now for a second. Yeah, that would be right. Because when was the general election? Last November. Yeah, that would be right. Yeah, you would be right. Hello, Saoirse. Yeah. Yeah, you're making me question myself because I'm like, when was this? Like, I had to take off to myself. It was definitely him and Ryan. It wasn't Roderick O'Gorman. He did go somewhere. Roderick O'Gorman did it because he was Minister for Children at the time. But I don't know. I can't remember where he went to. But he went somewhere. But yeah, basically they're all no good. Too bad they didn't keep him there. But anyway. He's fallen asleep all the time. That's why you never hear of him now because he's always in bed. But yeah, just what the topic because just speaking about the European presidency and going on holidays and going here and going there. Obviously, Ireland's role in the European presidency is coming up soon. It's coming up like within a few months. In July, July or June or July, sorry. To get in the role of the European presidency. Of course, that's going to cost us a small fortune to have. But yeah, so basically what they're talking about at the moment is they're going to bring in foreign police people, say from France or from the Netherlands or Hungary, right, or Denmark, to police the streets of Dublin for the European presidencies. Because there's been a lot of leaders coming here, like European leaders, Ursula von der Leyen, etc. God bless us and save us. And of course, the German Chancellor and the West to be here literally every 10 seconds of the day. So they're quite literally here all the time, basically, one trying to say. So they need a lot of security and a lot of Gardaí, and of course they don't have enough Gardaí and they don't have enough defence forces. So they have to get other countries to come in and do the job for us, which is great. Everybody's delighted to hear that. But yeah, that's what's pretty much happening. But we wait and see how that goes. But I'm not a big fan of it because the Irish people don't want them. Yeah, the Kaiwa gang. Yeah, they had an unfortunate end, the Kaiwa gang. So it probably wouldn't be a good thing um, to bring them over the Kaiwa gangs and go, what the fuck is going on here? When was this? So give me a moment. I'm just after seeing something there. The finish. Really, Gilly. Well, sorry, just give me 2 seconds. Sorry, give me 2 seconds because I'm only after seeing this here, so I just want to make sure I'm right. Um, I don't know about that, so I see. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen. So we'll see what happens. I don't think it'd be many. It'd probably be only about maybe 50, 100 or something like that. It wouldn't be much. I don't think they would need that much police officers and stuff. I'd say it'd be relatively safe enough. Let's put it that way. I don't think to be any damage around it, but it's the cost to all because obviously they're not doing it for nothing. That's what I'm trying to say. Say, for example, we get German police over here. The German government won't do it for nothing. The Irish government would have to pay for them to be there. If that makes any sense. Nobody's going to do it for nothing. What I'm trying to say. And I wouldn't be out of fortune in it. That's my point, I suppose. What is this? So, the West has fallen. I presume notifications didn't go out too tonight. I presume everything's just fucked again, as it usually is. Everything's fucked. Once again. Also, it's Valentine's Day, so a lot of people probably be out and about in Cavan. It won't really. I have to find an old ad. Yeah, like YouTube's cut when it comes to that. No, I did see it before. Like I've seen a lot of the old Cavan Cola ads. Yes, I've seen them. They even were made one for Cavan Day that time, like an old Cavan Cola ad. I don't know if you remember seeing it for Cavan Day that time. They did remake one. But yeah, I want to talk about an incident in Cavan. Yeah, we made that one for Cavan Day in 2023. But I want to just talk about an incident in Kingscourt in County Cavan. Now you probably have seen this on the community post, but this was from Friday night that gone by, like Friday last night. So there's a group in Cavan, and it helps out in Dublin too. It's called Help Out Homeless. No, I didn't send Sandra, unfortunately. But it's called Help Out Homeless. Yeah, like it was, they done a remake of that ad, like a new version of that ad. I'll show you later on. I probably put it. But yeah, so it's called Help the Homeless, and there was a young man in Kingscourt. It's about maybe something like 30 something. And of course with the cold temperatures last night and coming into the night too, they're trying to get an emergency accommodation, a hotel room somewhere out of the cold. And the person over the homeless section of Cavan County Council, basically, you see, if you look up the community post, you see a bit more detail, like in detail. But he's basically been told to wait for 10 to 12 weeks before he gets somewhere, maybe before he gets somewhere. And of course, he should. It's not like he's not looking for luxury. He's only looking for a bed and somewhere out of the cold. But yeah, basically, the place in Dundalk, that's for homeless people and stuff, it's full. There's no place in Cavan at all. There's literally not one emergency accommodation place left in Cavan for him to go into, even just for the weekend. There's no place. They won't pay for a hotel room for him. That was suggested that they would pay for a hotel room, even just for the weekend. The county council, some of the councillors would take it out of their allowance. But none of them are willing to do it. So that's just the thing. None of them are willing. They're not willing to pay for a hotel room. Of course, he's Irish, just to say. He's not a foreigner. He's an Irish person. So that gives you explanation there. Because if it was a foreigner, let's be fair, it would be wall-to-wall news coverage. We would have RTE down. We would probably have BBC over from England to cover it because they'd be calling us racist and far-right extremists for not giving Mohammed his hotel room for tonight. They would be up in arms over it. But yeah, there's literally crickets when it comes to this. Like the local media in Cavan don't want to know. They don't care. RT doesn't care. RT's nowhere to be found in this case. You think they would be reporting on this, but basically the controversy really here too is as the woman who rang the council for in this organisation asked, you know, let me just get the title. Sean asked me to tell the young man to call him on Monday, and as she says to him, if he's still alive, because it is cold and he's out in the street, he's out in the tent pretty much in this weather. And he said, yeah, well, yes, if you can give him a call, um, if he can give me a call and stuff like that on Monday, we're not going to deal with it now. We're waiting till Monday. He can die, and he can die between then and Monday. Pretty much that's what he said. We're not going to look after him now on Friday. We're going to wait until Monday. Ring me Monday when he's probably dead. That's pretty much what he's suggesting here. And as this woman says, today I rang the county councillors and TDs and ministers, spent the entire day on the phone pleading with them, explaining to them, trying to get someone to step in heaven. 2 weeks ago, I dealt with the exact same situation with another young lad, and he's still sleeping rough tonight in these freezing conditions. It's absolutely insane. But it just goes to show you there's literally nothing. It is a disgrace, and this is happening in Cavan. It's happening all over the country, but it's happening in Cavan particularly. But what I'm trying to say, these civil servants, this fellow, I know who he is in the council. He's not much addition. To be generally honest, he isn't much addition to anybody. I had a few interactions with him over the years, but not too many. But I have no time for him. I wouldn't spend too long. Whatever I have to say to him, I say to him. But I wouldn't spend too much time talking to him. He doesn't seem like a fellow that's interested in doing anything for the county. He seems to be only there for his own back pocket, it seems to be. So yeah, he has probably no care. And that's just goes to show you. Think he would say, yeah, I'm going to do it right now. But no, he's like, ring me Monday. I deal with it Monday. If he's dead by Monday, then I don't have to deal with it. So that's pretty much what he's suggesting right there. Hello, Greenface. How are we doing? But yeah, they're fucked up, these high-up civil servants. It's a joke. And especially because he's probably been paid. I don't know. I presume he works probably the weekends too. I'm not sure. He's a high-up civil servant in the council. He's over the emergency accommodation and stuff like that, emergency things. So I'm not happy with him. Let's put it, I'm not happy. I never was really happy with him. I don't think he should have the job. To be generally honest, to be open with you, I don't think he should. It's not an easy job, but still at the end of the day, he could have tried. Is the fact of the matter, he was just like, no, I deal with him Monday. It's not like he said, I'm going to do everything I can to get him something. He's like, no, I deal with him Monday. No, I'm not dealing with him now. Monday will be good enough. And there you go. And again, the worst thing is these councillors and stuff and the TDs here. I'm not blaming them because what I'm trying to say is these people who, like this person that's a civil servant, this Sean fella, he is a high-up civil servant. He's not elected by you or me, the people of Cavan. He's a person that's anonymous to the people of Cavan. Only the people like me that would look into him and know who he is and talk to him before know who he is, basically. Because he's an elected bureaucrat. He's accountable to nobody. The councillors, even they could say to him, yeah, look, try and get him something. But at the end of the day, he can overrule the councillors. This is the thing. The councillors have no say in this. The TDs maybe have a say because they are higher up. But this is the thing. He can overrule the councillors. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, even if the councillors went to him and said, get him somewhere for tonight, he could overrule them. He could just ignore them. He's not accountable to them. That's what I'm trying to say. He's not accountable. The only person he's accountable to is the chief executive of the council. And even he's not really accountable because he's the government just tell him what to do and he follows it. He can't really answer them back. It's just a joke. Yeah, like a lot of people use for iPass at this. And of course, there's a lot of emergency accommodation in Cavan used for refugees and stuff. And that's the problem too. But also there is homelessness too, of course. But as I said many, many times, and it's been brought up many, many times, that the council can simply do this. They've got loads of modular houses for Ukrainians out the road. If they would just go and get a few more modular houses, they have the money. It's not like they don't have the money. Even just as a temporary thing, for a few years. Just build a few more modular houses out the road for people like in this situation, for the weekend or for whatever. But they won't do it. They simply won't do it. I don't know why they won't do it. It's not the fact of the matter there's no money. There's plenty of money. They just don't want to spend it. And particularly for Irish people, they don't want to spend it on Irish people. And that's just the simple ass truth here. Because this man is an Irish fellow. And if this was a foreign national, you bet your fine dollar there would have been something done straight away. And that's just a simple thing. If that's far-right extremism, so be it. Because it's the simple truth. because there literally would be RTE down here. We would have news talk. We would have Fudge Media down. We would have every camera in the country down. Newspaper. We have everything down to say how bad the Irish people are, how bad the government is for letting this Mohammed fellow, like Hilful Sabi, it was Mohammed, lie in the street. They would be wall to wall covered in every news channel every hour of the day. I love my civil servants; they're my favorite humans. I don't know, if you told me, I don't know about this fellow. I don't think he is. I don't think he has a soul. I don't know would he be classified as a human, this civil servant, because he's pretty much just like he can die over the weekend. We deal with him Monday if he's still alive. That's pretty much what he said to the woman. Not that we're going to worry about it now. He said we're going to worry about it Monday. He could freeze to death in the cold. What do I care? Pretty much. That's pretty much what he said to the woman in the nice way. Instead of dealing with it now and getting something done for the weekend, he said, "Oh, Monday too." And this is the thing: when she rings up Monday and says the same thing to him, he'd be like, "Oh, we deal with it next Monday." It's just the goalposts keep getting moved. Yeah, everything's far right extremism, pretty much. Like even me saying that is considered far right extremism. But there is nowhere like for people to go in Cavan like that. It's the same with even people like particularly women fleeing their husbands and stuff that they're being abused and stuff. There's nowhere to go in Cavan for that. There should be, but there isn't. PO, yeah, like the PO and stuff. They get loads of PO out of that Ploughing Championships. But that's when they usually just kind of get their votes and stuff, like the sound bites. It's fair to say notifications didn't go out again. Geez, notifications never go out nowadays at all. Just need to check something. He didn't get a notification. That's the thing. Yeah, building snow. There's no snow here. There was sleet earlier on, but there was no snow. Do you have snow? Because there was only sleet here for about 10 minutes and then it started raining again. Yeah, like they didn't get notifications. That's the problem. Did you get notifications, just to say too? Because I think the whole system is just fucked in terms of live streams and stuff. You can see why. What was it? Oh my god, I'm blanking out a bit here. Ninja Knight, yeah, that's him. Ninja Knight stopped live streaming because I think he said because it just wasn't working and stuff, like notifications and stuff wasn't working and stuff like that. I think that's why. Don't quote me, but it's been a while since I've seen him. It must be 6 months nearly. Not 6 months, maybe 5 months. West Clare's blanketed. We're great. Snow day. Too bad you're not at school into that, because straight away in Ireland, as soon as there's any bit of snow, they're like, yeah, snow day. Throw everything out. Walk and everything. It's a snow day as soon as snow comes here. But no, you didn't get notifications. Typical. Yeah, Dublin got it bad the last few nights in terms of rain. I'm sure you've seen the car park in Dublin was flooded, and then a few roads coming into the airport were just flooded. But see, this is the thing. If they clean the drains, if they would literally clean out the drains and clean out the rivers during the summer, they wouldn't have half of these problems. But they won't do it. It's the same here in Cavan. Yeah, the massive audience. Yeah, Dan the mixtape. I think he just, particularly Dan the mixtape, I think he just wanted to. He had enough of it all, I think. I wouldn't blame him, I think he just wanted to. I had enough. I don't mean to speak on behalf, but yeah, I think Ninja Knight just left. Well, not didn't leave. He probably come back at some point, but because of just censorship and stuff. I think Dan the mixtape just had enough of it all. Was sick of it all. I wouldn't blame him, but I think Ninja Knight just wasn't happy with the censorship and stuff. Because I used to watch him a lot, and But oftentimes I didn't get notifications and stuff. I often was in these live streams, yeah. But even often hearing him sometimes in these live streams, he wasn't happy because people wouldn't get notifications and stuff and the whole lot. Yeah, but it's very clear that YouTube does do censorship and stuff. It's very clear. So, but yeah. But hopefully we'll see them again someday on YouTube. Because I think it's a long time since Ninja Night went live. Well, not live, but even done a video. I think it must be 4 or 5 months. Like Dan, the mixtape was gone over a year and a bit. So that could be the notification to tell me that I'm live. I think so. Just let me check. I have to go. Literally, the worst thing about being subscribed to so many people, you have to literally go sifting through hundreds of things. Yeah, it's been 2 months ago since he was did last put up a video. 2 months ago. That would be about right, yeah. It would be about right, yeah. 2 months ago, yeah. I thought it was longer, but it's 2 months. Then the mixtape is gone a year and a bit or so. Well, not gone, but you know what I mean. Yeah, James Collins. I used to watch him too, but I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to a lot of people. Yeah, he just disappeared too. So yeah, I didn't watch Bosco that much. I often seen him in chats and stuff. I didn't watch him that much, but yeah, a lot of people just made escapes and stuff. There's many other people that have just, yeah, I suppose life and stuff got in the way too in some cases. There was a young woman I used to watch. She was called Satan's Scholar. She used to have a YouTube channel too. You've probably often seen her here. But she has a child to take now and stuff, as far as I know. Don't mean to just out her and stuff like that, but I think she has a child enough. That's what I was told. Anyway, I don't, hopefully I'm right saying that. Yeah, there's a lot of Telegram groups and stuff. A lot of them probably are on Telegram. But I always wanted to stay away from Telegram because it's always just drama. Like there is literally always just drama in them groups. Because somebody says something about the other person, then there's just a big fucking hullabaloo about it. And I always wanted to stay away from that because there's no point just literally blowing each other up, basically. That's literally what that was happening in Telegram. And I don't trust Telegram, to be genuine honest with you. But yeah, a lot of people have disappeared over the last year or two, I suppose. Like, of course, life got in the way, but I do think too. There's a cost of speaking out and stuff and showing your face like I do and stuff. There's a cost. There's a cost. There is a target on your head in the way too. But yeah, and I suppose pressure does get to you eventually. But I suppose with me, I just don't care anymore about the pressure and stuff. I just don't care, and rightly so, because if you're going to live your life in fear, you might as well be dead. And you shouldn't let fear conquer you. That's what I say to people. But yeah. But as long as I have people here just to chat to and stuff, I don't mind. Like, I don't care about being a big YouTuber and stuff. I never really cared about that. I'm happy enough with my... as long as I get my voice out there, I don't care after that. And I think that's the main thing. As long as even somebody's listening to you, that's at least a positive thing. What is this now? Not even going to go down. We don't have to go down. Scam Bondi. Oh yeah, finally somebody has been arrested in the Epstein files. I'm sure you've heard the former Norwegian Prime Minister has been arrested and charged with giving information to Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, I was thinking that. Somebody told me that, but I didn't know her that well, of course. But I often see her in my chats and comments and stuff. But I do wish her, if she ever sees this, I wish her all the best, and of course all the happiness with her child and stuff too. And you understand why she's not online now because obviously she has bigger priorities and stuff. But I do wish them all the best and all the happiness in everything, of course, and for the child too. Uh, Hello, Lenny. Sorry, I was too busy yapping. Hello, how are we doing? How was that Saturday? Genuinely, no explanation. Yeah, see, that's the thing, and there's a lot of scammers too. Like a lot of scammers use Telegram too, because it's encrypted and stuff like that. But yeah, I would. My advice would be to stay away from Telegram. I know it's probably useful and stuff, but I wouldn't go near it. I just never trusted for some reason. I just never did. Like often, I often hold a big arguments and stuff. People with the Irish Freedom Party type of Zappo. Somebody would say something about one of them, and then the whole bloody thing would boil over, and everybody giving out to each other, and was just a mess. Like I wasn't in it, but I seen things online and stuff, but it was just a farce. To be totally honest with you. Oh, it's a long story, Greenface, but it was just somebody that used to be here in our channel. If you know Saints and Scholars, not Bosco, but the other Saints and Scholars. I don't know if you probably remember them. You might have seen them once or twice. We're just talking about the old people, the old gang that used to be here. Then there used to be a few other people too. Like just thinking of them too. What was the name? I'm trying to remember people's names because there used to be so many old people, like not old people, but people that were kind of what you would call forced nationalists and stuff. People that were in the movement for a long time and stuff. I'm not sure. I think they did. Like he did have a one in with the French government. Yeah, he's also Telegram has just been banned in Russia. Just to say, Russia just banned it there literally 2 days ago. I don't know how it's going. Yeah, you're still here, but you haven't gone. You're away yet. You get what I'm saying? The old gang. But yeah, no, Telegram has been banned in Russia. So. But yeah, no, it's not banned in France. I don't think. There was a shooting in France too. The police shot somebody beside the Arc de Triomphe, like near the big thing that Napoleon built. Well, not Napoleon, but the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Yeah. But yeah, no, there was other people like the old school. Just speaking of the old school, there's so many people I couldn't name. Not in my backyard. Indeed. Well, Sean, what time do you call this? What time do you call this? I don't know. It's hard to know because I only seen the video like of him being on the ground and stuff. But he went and tried to stab police officers, and they shot him dead. Excuse me, apologies. Just had dinner. Go for some, isn't it? Having a Valentine's Day dinner. Great stuff. Only got the notification now. Great stuff. YouTube's being great. YouTube is mighty. The mighty Mac. What is this? Where is my thing? What is the meaning of this? Mary Butler's talking a yap. So I don't know if you've seen this, but people know Bridge Smith. Don't you know who Bridge Smith is? The former People Before Profit TD that left Dáil Éireann. She has called for a ban on alcohol in the Dáil. And it's been reported that in 2025 that the TD spent €500,000 on drink and food and stuff. They spent literally €500,000. Of course, we were paying for it. They didn't pay for it. Don't worry about that. We paid for all that. Don't worry about it. So don't worry about them. They didn't have to pay for it. So they spent €500,000 on food and drink and stuff. But in fairness, she is right in this one. Like she is right for once in her life in this. That she is right. They probably shouldn't have drinks and stuff. Yeah, it's 20 years old. YouTube is 20 years old, 2005, yeah. But obviously, I'm not around that long, but I'm a good long time on YouTube. Um, but yeah, like YouTube nowadays is far from what it was now, like when it was first designed and stuff. Yeah, but that's how much they spent last year, just to say, in 1 year. Also, I'm sure people have seen the picture on the wall. The other side, sorry, where my clock is, that side of me. So I don't know if you've seen the video, but there's a new picture on the wall over there. So it's not on this wall, but it's on the other wall. So yeah, do make sure you watch that video because that's basically there now. Yellow subscribe button. I vaguely remember that. I vaguely do. That's a good while ago too. So I wanted to just actually briefly mention too of another case. Where am I now? So this child is suffering from scoliosis. I'm sure you've seen the thing, but if you haven't seen it, so it's all over Twitter, as it should be, because this poor child is suffering, and she had to go to America to get her hips done, to get surgery done. She had to go to America, and she's waiting 4 years to be seen to in this country. And unfortunately, this child now has scoliosis, like a problem with her back, as you can see here too. I show you the picture. It's not pleasant now. Just as so if you are squirmish or anything, please do look away. But it's important to show because it's the Irish state who's responsible. Because she's waiting 4 years, as I say, for treatment. So give me a second. But yeah, so basically, that's what she's like. Because her back is pretty much bent. Like that's what's happening. The poor child. It's bent at 80 degrees. Scoliosis. Eventually, unfortunately, if she doesn't get her treatment, this will kill her. The same as poor Harvey. And she's only 7 years old. I can only hope that hopefully something be done. But something should be done because they're spending billions on asylum seekers and stuff. And this is an Irish young lassie, and they've done nothing to help her. They've done nothing. Quite literally, done nothing. And if this doesn't, if she doesn't get her operation, so hopefully they are wasting money. But if she does not get this soon, within the next year or so, she could be dead, and that's to put it straight to you. That's what happened to poor Harvey. Like he's 80 degrees. That whole back is bent at 80 degrees, and they have to go off to the United States for private treatment to get it. Because again, she's waiting 4 years to be seen to, and she's in agony. She can't move. She can't do anything. As you can see there, she can't sit. She can't even do anything. She's pretty much lying there, and she can't do anything else in life. And it's a sad thing to have to say, but that child will be dead if something's not done soon to help her. But she is getting they are giving her good, like people are donating a good bit, which is great. But the Irish state should be paying for it. They really, really should be paying for it. That's what they pay. That's why I pay my tax and stuff. But Simon Harris should be disgraced. Because he said no child should wait 6 months for scoliosis treatment. And long behold, 4 years, and nothing's been done yet. And as she already had to go and get her hips and stuff done in the United States and stuff, along with scoliosis treatment too. It's totally heartless, if you ask me. It's just totally heartless. Yeah, like Simon Harris should be probably in prison for that, to be generally honest with you. Or should have lost his job anyway, at the very least. Because poor Harvey should be with us today. That's as simple as that. There's no doubt about that. He should have. If he got his surgery, he would have been still here. It's just that they left it far too late to do it. And then they took him off the list, you have to remember too. He was on the list to get treatment, and then mysteriously he disappeared off the list. So he was waiting for years, and he wasn't even on the list. Yeah, it's disgraceful. It's not even the women's rights in Sudan and stuff. It's all those fucking stupid shit they're spending money on. And you're giving themselves money, pay rises and stuff. Like them spending on bicycle sheds and other fucking stupid shit. I'm saying the National Children's Hospital spending a bit. They haven't even opened yet, but it's totally fucking wrong. That's to be generally honest. But it is a difficult. Don't get me wrong. It's not as simple as click your fingers and stuff, because it's a very delicate surgery and stuff. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. It's it's a long surgery. It's hours, hundreds of hours in these surgeries to get this her back straightened out, etc. It's not an easy procedure. I understand that, but still at the same time, they can easily do it if they want to. There's a magic wand when they want to do it. You know. Yeah, this is the thing. The Irish, if this was an asylum seeker, that the child was like this, you bet your fine dollar that it'd be on every radio station, every TV station in the country. It'd be 24/7. If this was an asylum seeker coming into the country with no documents, etc., there would be 24/7 talking about it. But as I say, I don't want to see any child. No child should suffer, regardless of where you're from. No child should suffer. I've always been of the opinion nobody wants to see a child suffer, regardless of where they're from. It's not right to see a child suffer. So it's not right to see a child, particularly like that. They can't move. They can't go to school. They can't. I know often we used to hate school when I was young and stuff, but to make friends and stuff, to live life and stuff, and it's not well. Whatever with old people that live their life and stuff like that, but for a young child at that age, to have no life, that's the thing. Whatever for an old person in the 80s and 90s, fair enough, they've lived their life. But for a young child, and again, she might not make it another year, and that's the sad reality. She might not make it another 6 months. That's how serious it is. It's life and death, pretty much. Especially for how long was left. The longer it was left, the worse it got. And it's a sad thing to have to say, but it's the truth. But I only hope that something be done. Because it's all over Twitter, and rightly so. It should be all over Twitter. And it should be haunting Simon Harris and Micheál Martin at night. It should be haunting them in their sleep. That's what they should be. And the same with the rest of the team. They should be haunting them every night when they go to sleep. But a lot of them just don't care. So was that. And the money is too much of a solace. And that's the type of truth. But yeah, sorry if I went on a tangent there, but I'm not happy to see that. I'm very disgusted that this poor young lassie was left for so long. Give me a second. Hello, James. Sorry, apologies. Give me 2 seconds. I just have to look at this for a second. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, I seen about Pat Kennedy objecting to something at one stage. Not too much. I remember seeing it, but yeah. Sorry, James. Apologies. Listening to a podcast. Yeah, definitely, but it can be repaired. Of course, it can be repaired. Anything can be repaired. It's the will to repair it. It takes a lot of effort. That's the only thing. It takes an extreme amount of effort. Every year it's left, the damage. Every year this government's left in power and stuff. It's going to take hundreds of years to repair the damage, but it can be done. But it takes so much effort and so much time to get rid of all the rot and the evil, in my opinion. But I never would lose hope, because the thing about it is, James, if we say there's no way, there's no hope, like in the 1916 Rising, there was no hope of ever them succeeding. They knew they couldn't succeed, but they lit the fuse. If that makes any sense. That ignited the spark, if that makes any sense, and it can happen again. You only need to ignite the fuse, and that's the thing. But I think the most important thing is not to give up, and simple as that. Because if we give up and say, what can you do? Give up and throw our hands on the ground and say, that's it, we'll give up. Then the government wins. But if you keep fighting, the government have it harder and harder to win. They have it harder and harder if they get pushback. And of course, people are pushing back and making it difficult for the government. Well, then before, maybe a few years ago, they could easily do it. Nowadays, they have opposition at every twist and turn. Even just take for example the hate speech bill, they were hellbound. They were desperate to push it. They were pushing it every way in the media to try and get it passed somehow. But the opposition that they were facing from every side, and they would have ignited the country. There would have been civil war if they would have went ahead and done it. Like without a doubt, it would have been civil war, and they knew that. Um, that's what stopped them, pretty much. That's what stopped them because they knew people wouldn't going to put up with it. That this would ignite the spark that would have been too hard for them to silence, and that's why they didn't do that. So when we oppose the government in every way we can delay what they want to do, etc. We can delay their actions. We can basically curtail them a lot, and we have again with the hate speech bill, basically dead and gone. It's pretty much dead and gone. It's never going to resurface for the next few years anyway, because they simply can't do it. They simply can't push it through because they know the consequence if they do. Um, but that's the simple thing. So our hope is not lost yet. Even in the darkest days of this country, you could argue this is the darkest days of this country. But even during the famine and stuff, people didn't lose hope. People had faith and stuff like that. Particularly, you have to remember, so many Irish people were homeless and stuff, kicked out of their house by English tenants and stuff. And they never lost faith. They never lost faith in themselves. They never lost faith in God above all else. Yeah, as you just said, by God, you must have read my mind. But no, this is the thing. A lot of people have gone back to God in the last few years. They've looked for solace. They've looked for guidance. That's the thing. They've looked for answers. They looked for guidance and support. What way to go? How to do it? That's what's happened. And you've seen that across the country. That many people have turned back to God in their time of need. In the time of this country's need too. So I wouldn't give up hope. Because the government wants us to give up, to say, let's let the country go. And throughout our generations, for 800 years, Irish people could have just said, we let the British do it. We let the British, take over our country. We let the British do whatever they want. But for 800 years, the Irish people said, no, we won't. We're going to fight them if it takes another 800 years. And that's the thing. We were never defeated. We might have been occupied. But we never were defeated. We were always determined that one day the Ireland would be free and stuff. But this is the thing. But they never lost faith in themselves, and that's the thing. And we shouldn't lose faith in ourselves too, because the government wants people to be divided. The government wants that. They like division. Division helps them. But if the people just say no and simply say no, we won't, and we won't put up with it, then the government can do very little. Because the government's only a small minority. The people are the majority, and that's the thing. But no, don't lose hope, James. That's what I say. Things can happen, and as I said with the hate speech bill, only for people vehemently opposed it. Anything we say nowadays would have put us in prison. They would have had that law in, and we would be all in the prison. For saying our opinions, etc. But they didn't get away with it. Not yet, anyway. But that's what I'm saying. They didn't get away with it. They wanted to get away with it. And the same with the family care referendum. The country would have been just flooded out of it. If you think it's bad now with immigration, etc., it would have been insane if the family care referendum would have passed. Because the enjoyable relationship is, you remember our good friend, what was it? I can't think of it. Richard, what the fuck they call? I can never think of it. You know who I'm talking about. He was on Virgin Media News. And he was like, oh, yeah, people can come, family reunification and stuff because of, sending a Christmas card and stuff like that. And people seen through that and voted accordingly. So, we can stop the government and stuff, of course. Same with the digital IDs. You see, they wanted to bring them in the UK. And that didn't go well because everybody was vehemently opposed to it. And you see with Discord at the moment, Discord wants to bring that in, and their company's just going into the toilet. Like basically, if you keep doing this in society, like you see with Discord, like they've lost an insane amount of money from people who cancel the subscription, the amount of people that are threatened to leave Discord, and just the sheer flack they're getting from all sides. Either Discord doesn't do it. If Discord does it, they're bankrupt, they're gone, they're finished, they're done with. And if they don't do it, they shouldn't do it. Let's put that way. Because if they go ahead and do it in March, they're not going to have a company. The company's going to be gone. Simple as that, because people are firmly opposed to it on all sides, not just on the right. It's on every side, because people can see what they're up to and what they want to do. So we see how that goes, because this court, if they go ahead with it, they're going to lose the company. It's the same with everything. You either side with the people, you side with the state, and people can see who they're siding with, and that's the thing. But but things can change, James, and that's what I'm saying. But to watch the space anyway. When it comes to this court, because I say they will go ahead with it, and they will lose everything. Basically, this court, they're going to do that, and they're going to learn the hard way. That's as simple as that, because people are going to boycott it into the ground and destroy them financially, and that's how you hit them in the pocket. But yeah, we see what happens. But what I'm trying to say, don't give up hope. Like you should probably read some hope in action, because there is hope in action, and I think that's the main thing. Because she is white. Whatever you think of Santa Marin, like she is white. It's only where over here. See, to get the quote specifically. It's only through action that we can feel hopeful again. Action doesn't have to be grand. It can be different in doing our own small part, standing up for important causes, speaking up for our values, the matters that we're not focused on solely, not for ourselves. That is not only important for society, but actually profoundly important on our own lives and our own well-being. That's what I'm saying. Jesus, James, don't be so mean. But no, she is white, regardless of what we say of that. She is white, because we could just sit here and say, all hope is lost. What about it? But by doing even the small actions and calling out stuff, we're able to achieve something. That's the thing. Do you get what I'm saying, James? Because if we just sat here and said, let the government do whatever they want, we would have been trapped long ago. It's the fact of the matter that we're acting on our emotions, acting on our feelings, acting on our beliefs, that we can feel hopeful again. And that's truly the matter, because that's the thing. And I'm sure you would agree with that, because it's only through action that you can have change and that you can do good. Yeah, the UK, you get just in jail for questioning Keir Starmer. It's absolutely insane, but you get what I'm saying. But the world of digital IDs, and people utterly rejected that one. So that didn't go well for them. It didn't go well for them. Little did they know it didn't go well. Little did they know. But no, I want to talk actually for a second. Now, this is probably going to be a long conversation. So I hope everybody's ready for about an hour's conversation. Or a 2-hour conversation. So are we ready for this big discussion? Big discussion. A big discussion. Big argument. As they say. We are Trump Christian law. So I'm sure we have seen in the community post. I don't know if you've seen the community post from yesterday, from the other day, too. I've talked about this before. I've done a video on it, 14 minutes long. 2 hours. No, it's not going to be that. But if people get me started, I just go on forever about it. But like I did do a whole hope and action review, but this is the thing. I'm sure people heard about Santa Marin stalker. Basically, she was in court yesterday along with him. And they're talking about giving him 9 months and stuff, even though he's in court for another separate thing to do with a nurse too. So he's probably only going to get 9 months. Now he probably should be deported because he is from Turkey. He's not. But he only has residency permit in Finland. He's not a Finnish citizen. He probably should be deported. I think anybody would agree with that statement because he has done this 3 times to women because he's a serious woman abuser. Because he doesn't think that women are equal in society. He thinks that women can be used and abused, and that's pretty much his opinion. Um, to be totally honest, to be generally upfront with you, that's what he thinks. Now he's using the old excuse of mental health. It's my mental health. I went and stalked the former Finnish Prime Minister because my mental health and stuff. Don't ask me how I was able to follow her home and you'll find out where she lived, etc. Don't ask me all them questions, but it's my mental health budge, pretty much. What is he suggesting? Give me a second, I just get the thing so I can show you what I'm on about. If you haven't seen. Give me 2 seconds. Hello again. Hopefully that's fine. It should be. Can you see my screen? You probably can. But I think you can. Can't you see it? Yeah, you can. But yeah, so this is to do with obviously the former Finnish Prime Minister Sanna Marin. And of course she says that how she hasn't been alone since, etc. Since this happened, etc. And of course the Finnish state is determined to protect this man at all costs because they've literally blurred his face. You think they would have his face? We don't. Like, I know everything about him. Like, let's be fair, I know everything about him. I know too much about him. That's why I've went out of my way to find out every little detail about him. But the Finnish media should be reporting on it because you think they would say this is his name, this is where he lives. As they do in Ireland. In fairness, when you do get convicted of something in Ireland, your name is right there. Whatever you call yourself, Mohammed or whatever. I won't say his full name, but it's something similar to that. So you get what I'm saying. But he should be, and he shouldn't be protected because let's be fair, he's literally in court along with doing this to Sanna Marin. He's literally done it to another woman. He's stalked her and sexually assaulted her too. And he's they're talking about giving him 9 months. And him not even a citizen of Finland. He's a foreign national. And he's only going to do this again. Like, he's done it before, a few years ago, to another woman. So he's done it 3 times. So he's not going to learn his lesson by 9 months. And he can't use that excuse that he's mental health, etc. There's no way. Because he actively sought her out. He actively knew what he did. It wasn't just once. It was many times over a few months that he actively went and sought her out, etc. And of course, her daughter, like her young daughter, was there too. But scumbag, and the media in Finland are scumbags too, for not showing his face and showing his name. I know his name. I know everything about him. But the Finnish public should know because this fellow is walking around Helsinki or wherever he is in Finland now. He's some part of Finland, but he shouldn't be there. He should have been sent home long ago. But this is the thing. He's walking around the streets of Finland. He could be doing this to some other young girl at the moment. How do we know? What do we know? Because we don't know. He could be. He should be remanded in custody anyway. But this is a joke. It really is. And the saying here is 9 months. So we see. Where am I going inside? You're all just chatting among yourselves. Give me another second just to get this now. I hate having to find things. It's the worst thing imaginable. Oh my god. Pelkele. Give me a moment. Sorry, 1 second. Where am I? me a moment. Sorry. I think this is it. You can see my screen now, Darren. But no, I just say this. As Santa Mount herself said in a victim impact statement yesterday, my only wish is that basically his defense lawyer that's paid for by the Finnish taxpayer, said to Santa Mount, like basically he had said he had mental health problems and he regrets it now. As she said, my only hope the situation, nothing similar happens again. No to me, to anyone else, Santa Mount said. And of course, the only way to really deal with him is send him home, to be totally honest. So I don't think prison's going to make him learn his lesson, to be generally honest with you. Unless you send him for 20 years, maybe then. But they're only talking about 9 months. They're talking about maybe 7 months, maybe 9. Something like that. She does say, as she goes into saying, even the first encounter at the end of November was threatening Mowen, says. The Mowen ran up to her and she felt like he didn't want to let her go, etc., and followed her home, etc., etc., etc. But yeah. I don't know if you can see that, yeah. Could you see that anyway? You could see that because sometimes he doesn't want to show. You could see that anyway because I remember one time I was showing you something and then as soon as I finished, it was like I couldn't see anything. Oh yeah, they would in the UK do it, but see if I shared his name now, like this fellow's name and everything about him. There's some people who've took pictures of him and stuff, and only for them, but we have to know what he looks like, etc. It's not the Finnish media, but like even if I shared his name now, even though he's like literally after doing harm and stuff in Finland, it's not like he's an upstanding citizen that's just going about his business. He's after committing 3 crimes in Finland, 3 very serious crimes. Like he's up again with the other woman for sexual assault. And harassment and stuff like that too. And of course, the former Finnish Prime Minister too. Harassment and threatening to break in and stuff and banging on the doors and stalking her for a month and disturbing the peace. And then for another case too, he stalked a woman, threatened to kill her child. Awful stuff. And this fellow's still in the country. Like it's absolutely insane. His residency permit is still there. Like the true Finn's gone home for the week, or what's the story? Because he should be sent home long ago. But he's a danger. He is a danger. Like he generally thinks he can control women, and that's the thing I don't think the Finnish state understands. And I've been yapping about this since it happened. That he's off the mind that he can control women. That's as simple as that. He doesn't respect women. He thinks he can abuse and use them whenever he feels like it. Because unfortunately, that's the culture that he comes from. That he doesn't believe in that women should probably have the right to vote, etc. Because where he comes from in Turkey, they don't really treat women with respect. In other countries in the Middle East, they don't. And that's a simple thing. That might be considered far-right extremism, but so be it. But it's the truth. Because he just didn't do this once. It'd be different if he only done it once and never done it again. He maybe learned his lesson. But he's done this 3 times. He's done this 3 times. And these are serious things. Well, I don't know about the Finnish Epstein. He hasn't done anything that serious, thankfully. But he did threaten to kill a child before. And God knows what he could have done if he got into her apartment, Santa Mount's apartment, because her daughter was there at the time when he was doing this kind of carry on at the door. Hello, Tony. Good evening. How are we keeping? But yeah. But I can't say his name because the Finnish police might want to arrest me for it. Imagine I probably would be arrested for saying his name because the Finnish government want to protect him. Well, not the Finnish government, the Finnish media and stuff. And the courts want to protect him. You can't, like the media won't publish his name. They won't publish his photo. Like if you look at my community posts, you can't even see his face, even though I have his like a picture of him and stuff. But the media won't let you publish it unless you have permission and stuff. But yeah, he's not from the European Union. He's in Turkey. He's from Turkey. I know where in Turkey and etc. I know all about him basically. I've went and found out everything about him. But the media should be reporting this. Like it's very serious stuff that he did. Yeah, but he's on social welfare. Like the Finnish state is paying for his prosecution. You know the way Santa Mount was being cross-examined by his defense lawyer yesterday. He's not paying for that. The Finnish state is paying for that. The Finnish taxpayer is paying for him to be defended by a Finnish lawyer. And when he done this originally, when Sanna Marin got the what they got the temporary restraining order for the year to stop him coming here, he couldn't speak Finnish because the trial was obviously in Finnish, so they had to pay for a foreign interpreter, a Turkish interpreter. The Finnish state had to pay a few thousand to get him to interpret because he couldn't speak Finnish because it was in Finnish. Sanna Marin was speaking Finnish and the judge was speaking Finnish, and he couldn't speak Finnish, so the Finnish state had to pay for a lawyer for him and an interpreter. And now he's using this defense as a mental health issue. It's not a mental health issue because he knew what he was doing. I don't think you understand. It'd be different if it was just a once-off incident in the middle of the street. Who knows what he was going to do? That's the simple truth. Because he was determined to get into her apartment, and her young daughter was there at the time too. So I presume he had that intention probably in trying to get in. And this was on Christmas Eve too. So imagine a small daughter. There was only 5 at the time too, just to say. So, but I presume that was his intention. Because he wasn't trying to break the door and stuff in for nothing. That's the simple as that. That's what I presume he was. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was going to do something. I don't know. But that seemed to be his intention. And I don't even know was it because she was the former Finnish, but I think it was just a random woman. She was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I think and then he took some notion or something like that. But he didn't know. I don't think he knew who she was originally, and then found out who she was. But he done this to another girl. Like he sexually assaulted another girl before. Like he touched her like backside and stuff and started rubbing her off. And this woman didn't even know it was a nurse in a hospital that he went to. He started just rubbing her up and stalking her and awful stuff like that. And he didn't even know her name and awful things. And he's in court too for this too. He's at the exact same time he's in this, he's in the court for the other thing. For sexual assault. That's a lot more serious, of course, too. But this is serious, too, because he's kicking the door in, pretty much. And stalking, of course, too. But but still doesn't, regardless if it's mental health, he still doesn't justify, saying we'll let him off with it. That's the simple fact. Because he shouldn't get off, because they only suggested 9 months. That's what they're suggesting, the Finnish state. That he get 9 months, 8 months. But there's no word about deporting. That's what probably should happen here. Because let's be fair, there's probably good upright standing people that are trying to get into Finland and stuff, to get a Wednesday permit to stay in Finland. And they probably can't get it. There's people that probably are hard-working people that want to do good in society, and they probably can't get a Wednesday permit. He has it, and he shouldn't have it. He's lost his entitlement to have it because he's caused such trouble in Finland, and he's a burden on the Finnish state. Because he doesn't have a job, he's on the dole, and he's just taken from the Finnish people. He's taken, and he's causing trouble, along with taking money off them and paying for the Finnish state is paying for his house and support and everything. He's not giving anything back. He's causing trouble and he's abusing women. That's the simple. And he threatened to kill a child before too. So he's not a pleasant fellow to have in your country. And again, he doesn't respect women. That's the simple thing. And I don't think 9 months is going to do it. Like, it's not going to change his opinion on that. And that's as simple as that. Because I've looked into it. I know everything about him. And I'm not satisfied that he ever will learn. The only way he will learn when he's maybe locked up for the next 30, 40 years. When he's an old man, maybe in his 80s, he would probably learn his lesson then. But I don't think he's going to learn his lesson. Because it's not his first time he's in trouble with the law. And who knows... I don't know. I tried to find out was he ever in trouble in Turkey before. That's why maybe we moved to Finland. But I can't find anything on it. But I say he probably was in trouble with the authorities in Turkey before. I'm not sure about that, but I presume he probably was because he didn't just start this all of a sudden. But I'm not happy. But particularly the sheer upset and stuff that's caused to Sanna Marin and her daughter, and of course probably the nurse too, in this other case, and probably to the other woman too. And as Sanna Marin said in effect that it happened to no other woman. And I think 9 months won't solve that because he's going to get straight out, and he could go after Sanna Marin again. This is the thing; he could go straight after her. That's as simple as that. He could literally go straight after. As soon as he gets out in 9 months' time, he could have the intention to kill a small child. God knows what he could do. That's as simple as that. because he doesn't respect women. He doesn't see them as equal, and that's what I generally take with looking into his past. Because I've looked extensively into his past, and I've come to that conclusion. And I think the Finnish state should come to that conclusion that he doesn't respect women. He doesn't think they're equal. He doesn't think they're people. He thinks they're just objects that he can abuse, and that seems to be his thing. Simple as that. And that's generally what I see. And I'll be honest with people when I say that. If could see that he could be reformed, I would say so, but I don't think so. And that's to be generally fair and honest with you. And I say that straight to people. Because if I generally see remorse and stuff, he would. But I don't think so. I generally don't believe. Because if he generally was sorry about this, he would take the first plane back to Turkey himself, self-deport, and never come near Finland again, and never bother a Finnish citizen again. But he won't. He's still in the country. You know, like if I generally like, I wouldn't even think about doing something like that to anybody. Never, not alone to a former Finnish prime minister and stuff. If I done something like that, I would get out of the country or hang myself too. That's what I probably would do in sheer shame. But that's what I'm saying. You know, I would have left the country long ago. But generally, I would have went for the first option if I done something like that. Yeah, that's what I take. That's what I take. I think Sandeman pretty much nearly stated that in what she said, that he'd do it to no other woman. And that's the simple that. Because I don't think 9 months is going to solve that. Simple that. And generally, be honest with you, I might as well be honest. But yeah. But I do feel sorry for Sana. I really, really do. She doesn't deserve. I met Sana, as I said. She's the nicest person you could meet, to be generally honest with you. And she doesn't deserve this hassle. And nor does her daughter deserve this hassle of worrying about being afraid in your own house and stuff. Even regardless of your politics, if you don't like her or whatever, she doesn't deserve to be frightened in her own home. And the same with her daughter. She doesn't deserve to be frightened. Nobody deserves to be frightened in their own home. That somebody could come and attack them and do this, you know. It shouldn't have took this long anyway for something to happen. But again, we won't know until the 27th. That's when the last court date is, before whatever they're going to do with him. They're going to send him to prison or whatever they're going to do. But I presume he'll probably get 9 months and then he'll be let out again. That's what I presume will happen. But I don't know. Yeah, but the same with Polksha, he had convictions in Slovakia. He should have never been in this country in the first place. He had convictions in Slovakia before. He should never have been allowed to stay here. I can't remember exactly what the conviction was. Wasn't it sexual assault in Slovakia? He was caught in Slovakia doing or something. I can't remember. He had a conviction in Slovakia anyway. For something serious. It was serious enough. It wasn't like he just stole a bowl of chocolate. But though in this case particularly, I don't know about Portugal, but this fellow is a serious, like this fellow that I'm talking about, he's a serious woman abuser. Simple as that. It's not Portugal only, like he did murder Ashley Murphy. But he didn't like go every day of the week and, we've done it 3 times or 4 or 5 times, go around just talking to women, haunting women. That's what he was doing, stalking them and stuff like that. But generally, by looking into his past, and I generally be honest, he doesn't respect women. So was that this person that we're talking about? I could say his name. I was going to say his name, but I probably shouldn't because the Finnish state would arrest me and probably prosecute me for that. But he should, in fairness to Ireland here, whatever you can say about the justice system, it's fucking crooked as fuck. But in fairness, even if you're convicted of a traffic violation, your name is up and your address is in the paper. And rightly so, you're shamed. You're shamed, you're publicly shamed. And people know that you committed that crime, that you've done this, and people know about it. In this case, the Finnish state is actively defending this person. And as simple as that. And as I say, we hear a lot in society about protecting women, etc. In this case, where's the protection of women? We should be keep looking after women, etc. Where in this case is that? And when does it stop? Because this fellow get 9 months, he come out and do the same thing again. That's the thing. Give me 1 second, sorry. Yeah. I don't know, but it's bending over backwards. An Irish person be lucky now to get the dole, to be totally honest with you. They'd be lucky to get anything. But yeah. But it's my only hope too that that hopefully he will learn his lesson, because he probably only get 9 months, I say. But I hope that Santa Marin and stuff, can recover from that. Of course, she is a strong woman and stuff. But yeah, I hope he does leave her alone. If he ever does get out, I hope he does leave her alone and doesn't annoy her. That's my only hope. And hopefully nothing ever happens again like that. But yeah, so yeah, that's a long tangent. That probably went on for about 30 minutes, did it? I could go on for longer. Lucky nobody asked any questions about it, because I could have went on for hours about it. But what was I going to say to you too? Yeah, so we're going to start recording next week. On the basically these things, so that's going to, probably happen next week. So I'm hoping. So are we all looking forward to that? That's literally going to be 10 hours. That's literally going to be 10 hours, just to say. That's literally going to be hundreds of hours, just to say. This is fucking video that's coming. So it's Greenface still here. Are you looking forward to that? If you think 2 hours is bad, you have seen nothing yet. Because literally by talking about these two pictures, it's literally going to take 10 hours. Literally one of them could literally only take 10, literally take 10 hours. It could be 20 hours. I could be sitting here making videos. That's not even counting all the recordings and putting them together and editing them and all that crap. So we could be sitting here for literally 7 years doing this crap. It's literally going to be very long. I tell you straight up. I've wrote some of the script for the fourth section, and that's literally nearly 20 minutes. Just the first few sections. That's nearly 20 minutes. And that's just saying about who she is. That's not even going into the details of it. So, I can't bear this. Yeah, that's literally going to be insane. But yeah, just to say, it's going to be double the time. The Hope and Action Review, we had that done in 21 hours. This is going to take, I think it's going to take over 100 hours. I generally do think it's going to take 100 hours. Because we're going to start probably next week. We're going to take it easy. We're not going to rush it out the door. See, what we tried to do before, we tried to get out before Christmas Eve. And we got it done. But it was only 21 hours we spent on it. This one's going to take 100 hours, definitely. 90 hours, definitely. But it's going to be over 4 or 5 months. It's going to take that long. It will take that long. It will. We try and maybe get it done in 5 months, 4 months. We see. We couldn't really spend much longer than that at it. But we will. We will try and get it done for, the aim is 5 months. So midsummer. Hopefully. We see. But it's going to take a lot of time. It really is. Who? Which who? What who? What? Who? Who's who? Hula hoops. We got nothing to do with a backwards looking idea of sovereignty. Nothing to do with a backwards looking idea of sovereignty. Amazing stuff. Maybe backwards looking idea soon. But anyway, we probably nearly leave it there. We went on for a long time tonight. Usually we're only an hour. We stayed for extra bit of time. Mainly to talk about the case I was talking about. But oh yeah. So for the video that I was just talking about, people can record their own bits if you want. What I'm thinking about, we can kind of work it out a bit better. But we can kind of put it into the video, a bit of a community engagement. People, individuals can record their own video, or even the voice and stuff. We can put it in. basically just to gloat if they want in a way too. Um, they put it nicely. Of course, post Santa Mao messages. Of course, we're not going to tolerate at the Santa messages. Um, but yeah, we probably will allow you to do that at the end of it. Like at the end of the video, we probably will add in a few of that. If that sounds good to people, would people be interested in that? Um, but yeah, people could do like if they wanted even to react. Like when I'm talking about this picture, people can we might add in if somebody wanted to add in like only people here in the chat and stuff could add in their reaction, say to me meeting because it was a surprise probably to a lot of people because I knew about it but I didn't tell you so until it happened. But yeah, how does that sound? Does that sound good? Are we happy? Are we not happy with that? Because it'd be something that something different for people too. They want. Especially because we'll be the biggest video probably ever. There never will be another video so long and so big than this. That's what she said, but you know, blue sledding shoes. Oh Jesus, he's going sledding. Oh Jesus, he's going to throw some Molotov cocktails around. But are we happy with that suggestion? Are we up for that? Is anybody be willing to do that suggestion? Not now, just to say, but probably in a few months' time. Are we happy with that idea? We're not happy. What's the story in Battle of Moy? What would you like to know? Chase, everybody's it's quiet as a mouse. But yeah, so that's the suggestion, I suppose. Scream at the snowflakes. Old man yells at the clouds. Clouds. That's a Simpson reference. But anyway, that's all she wrote, I think, for tonight. Let me take. Is there anything really, really needed to say? We could talk about Epstein, but are we still talking about Epstein? As Donald Trump would famously say, we're not getting into that kettlefish tonight. I think we mentioned we talked about the Norwegian Prime Minister, yeah, the former Norwegian Prime Minister, just to say. So yeah, that's pretty much it for tonight. We'll be back Wednesday. Hopefully, all go well Wednesday. Yeah, I should be back. But yeah, so that's basically it. Grand. This is grand. But yeah, that's it for tonight. Thank you, Evan. I appreciate it. I know we're on for longer than probably usually would. Hello, Assassin. Good to see you. How are you doing? How is your mom too? Hello, Rose. How are you doing? Just literally I'm about to go. But yeah, I appreciate everybody being here. We chat again, hopefully, please God, Wednesday. Everything going well. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your night. I've enjoyed the rest of your weekend. Have a great Valentine's too if you're out with your loved one or whoever. So yeah, appreciate it, Evan. Take care and enjoy the rest of your night and goodbye.